Good morning, greetings, and welcome to The Bright Side, your nutritional program dedicated to the understanding of the vast world of nutrition and nutritional supplementation. I'm your host, Pharmacist Ben, nutritional pharmacist from Boulder, Colorado. I use nutritional supplements where other healthcare practitioners use toxic pharmaceutical drugs and sometimes deadly medical procedures. If you suspect that there are natural nutritional roads to your health and vitality and well-being and to addressing your health challenges, whatever they may be, but you don't know where to begin, you have come to the right place. As you listen to The Bright Side every day, you are more and more in control of your body, you are more and more knowledgeable, and you know you can overcome any health challenge. That is why we are here every day on The Bright Side, helping clear up this sometimes confusing world of nutrition and nutritional supplementation. Over the last 32 years of practicing pharmacy, I have seen drug-free recoveries from diabetes, hypertension, obesity, skin diseases like acne, psoriasis, eczema, rosacea, digestive ailments, autoimmune issues of all kinds. Recoveries that by the standards of modern medicine can only be called a miracle. But what is in the world of the body, what is in the world of biology, standard operating procedure. Because the human biological system is a healing system, it's a regenerating system. It is designed divinely to heal and renew itself on a moment-to-moment basis. And while some folks may call that healing, renewing, regenerating system a miracle, it really is just the way the body works. And if you have questions about health, nutrition, prescription drugs, if you want to wean yourself off your meds and get on a good nutritional supplement program, we are here for you on The Bright Side. 844-236-6010 is our number, 844-236-6010. If you have questions about the longevity products, the longevity business, if you want to sign up to join the longevity business and you have some questions or comments or success stories you'd like to share, we love hearing from you. Make this show interactive. It's much more interesting when it's interactive. 844-236-6010 is our number. If you want to sign up to join the Brightside Ben team, click on the Join the Team link at brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com. You can also call 866-735-2470 for more information. For a one-time $25 fee, you can be in business for yourself. Call 866-735-2470 or click on the Join the Team link at brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com. Okay, we left off talking on our last Bright Side episode, talking about the economical nature of the brain. The brain doesn't want to spend money. The brain doesn't want to spend energy if it doesn't have to. It's cheap. It's learned to be cheap. It's learned to conserve. It's learned to hold on to its energy as much as possible. In physics, they call that the law of inertia. A body in motion tends to stay in motion. A body at rest tends to stay at rest. Things don't like to change. Change is hard for everybody and everything. Nature is not about change. Ironically, nature is not about change. It doesn't want to have change. It's got systems in place to keep things from changing. But it's kind of a losing battle, ironically, because everything always changes. So we hate change, but change is inevitable. Suffering is change. Suffering is resistance to change. Suffering is, when you think about it, and fear for that matter too, is resistance to change. The only fear there is the fear of change. How ironic is that? Because everything changes. This is the human dilemma, is everything changes, and this is the primal fear, the fear of change. That's why life sucks for so many people. You got to learn to ride the wave of change. You got to learn to love change. You got to learn to thrive on change. If we can learn to thrive on change, if we can learn to not fear change, we'll never fear again. Our lives will be completely smooth and easy. Nonetheless, if you're going along your merry way, living life in an unhealthy fashion, guess what? It's going to eventually show up as something that's unpleasant. So change is a must. If you want to, for most of us anyway, if we're sick and we want to leverage the body's ability to heal itself, we have to change. And the good news is that change can happen little by little. It doesn't take a lot. You don't need to make massive changes all at once. We could do things. We can accomplish very, very, very powerful and permanent and long-lasting changes little by little. That's the good news. It doesn't take a lot to to begin the change process. It's only when we look at the end result that we really get intimidated by making a change in our lives. But little by little, you can exercise 10 seconds a day. You can take one supplement a day. You can change one eating habit a day. What you really need, the thing that we really need to have if we're going to make a change is we need to have a have to. There has to be some reason why we have to make the change. People usually, when they get really, really sick, that's when they make the change. The trick is to make the change when you're subtly sick, to notice when you're not maximally healthy, and that's when you want to make the change. We have a shortcut that keeps things, that makes it easy for us to decide what to do. We don't changes take decisions. That's really what you need to be able to make a change. You just got to decide that you're going to make a change. But we have shortcuts to making decisions. We call those memes. Memes will keep you from making good decisions if they're not in your interest. And there's unfortunately lots of memes that are not in our interest. And they keep us from making changes. They're shortcuts. So instead of actually changing the way we eat, we go to the doctor. Because the meme is, you're sick, you go to the doctor. That's the prevailing meme in the culture. Not that you're sick, you change the way you eat. For most people, present company excluded, listening to this radio program, you're sick, you go to the doctor. Not you stop eating the pizza or drinking the beer. You go to the doctor and you get your prescription. That's the standard meme. That's why there's 4 billion prescriptions served. Can you imagine this? We got 4 billion prescriptions a year in a country of 300 million people or 350 million people. It's like, this is craziness. We've got hundreds of thousands of organs being removed out of people's bodies every year, millions perhaps of organs, gallbladders and uteruses and thyroids and breasts and all kinds of surgical barbaric procedures, all kinds of chemical barbaric procedures, and we're sicker than ever before. Bad memes. The chemistry meme is the drug meme. We've been talking about the electrical meme. I have not forgotten to talk about that. In fact, electricity, to me, aside from the more abstract stuff like the consciousness part and the mental part, and the spiritual part and the emotional part, which are very important, the first place where all that abstract energy, all that abstract power, all those abstract forces, the spiritual, mental, emotional forces, meet the physical forces at the level of the at the electromagnetic level, at the level of the quantum. They call it the 0-point field. And if you haven't heard that term, the 0-point field, you will begin to hear it more and more in the culture as this electrical meme starts to become more and more powerful. That's what's happening. The electrical meme is gradually going to become more and more powerful. It's only been the quantum and electrical meme have only been in the culture for about 100. If you really want to push it, maybe 200 years, that we really started to understand 300 years, say from Benjamin Franklin, that the universe, that there's this electrical power in the universe that could be taken advantage of. The Greeks were the first people to come up with it, but really it didn't get going and got going in a big way in the quantum age, which is about 120 years old. But in the future, quantum and the 0-point field and all the electrical stuff that we're talking about in this program, that will become the medicine of the future, electromedicine. And I'm not talking about the kind of electricity like a machine where you stick where you get a jolt of electrical energy through your body. I'm talking about quantum electricity. Nutrition itself is a quantum phenomena. It's a quantum electrical phenomena. You don't need to know about it, but it's kind of interesting how the stuff works, and you can have a little bit more power over your nutritional choices if you understand some of the basics. Macronutrition holds on to quantum energy, and micronutrition acts as switching points, switching stations for that quantum energy, and they're both important. What we call vitamins, minerals, proteins, fats, and carbs, these are just holding spots for electrical energy, electrons. And when we understand that, we'll understand why it's important to eat electrons. Number one, you eat electrons by eating living food, or food that's been close to as living as possible, and you give the body the switching station so the electrons can travel into the right biochemical directions, like a train going down tracks. All right, I'm Pharmacist Ben. 844-236-6010 is our number. You're listening to The Bright Side. We'll be back after this. We're back on the bright side. Pharmacist Ben here. 844-236-6010 is our number. Got lines open for you. We are on the air Monday through Friday, 8 to 9 Pacific, and 10 to 11 Central, and 24/7 on the archive page at brightsideben.com. Also, pharmacistben.com, criticalhealthnews.com for all the longevity products, and also our blog and our videos and news stories, and we got all kinds of good information at pharmacistben.com, brightsideben.com, and criticalhealthnews.com. And also, don't forget to check out our Truth Skin Health products at truthtreatments.com. Have free shipping for the near future, for the indefinite near future. Not sure when that'll stop, but we have free shipping. We got new products. We'll have some new supplements out. Just keep checking back on the webpage at truthtreatments.com. Also have a skin health blog up at truthtreatments.com, truthtreatments.com. All right, so the new way of looking at the body, at least looking at health, and this will happen, this is gradually going to kick into the culture more and more as we begin to understand the electromagnetic underpinnings of reality and of the human body. The new way of looking at the body is going to be looking at the body electrically, electromagnetically. Nutrition works electrically. Everything is about everything's about electricity in our physical world. Electricity is where the invisible world meets the physical world at the electrical level, and from the electrical level, it becomes atoms, and then it becomes molecules, and then it becomes chemicals, and then it becomes biology. But the bottom line, at the foundation, and leverage always, you can always get more leverage at the bottom of the pyramid. The foundation of the pyramid is electrical, electromagnetic. And the electromagnetic energy in the body is carried on what we call electrolytes. That's what an electrolyte is. Electrolytes are minerals that have an ability to conduct electrical charges. Potassium, sodium, calcium, magnesium. The body runs on these things. These are super, super fundamental. In fact, we don't talk anywhere near enough about electrolytes, in my opinion. The Beyond Tangy Tangerine is largely an electrolyte drink. This is probably, maybe the B vitamins too, but probably the electrolytes and then maybe the B vitamins are the reason why people get instantaneous results from the electrolytes, because electrolytes work instantaneously. The electromagnetic force travels at the speed of light. So this is why you can take a vitamin. Check this out. Do you ever wonder how you can take like a B12, a tiny little bit of B12, 100 micrograms, which is like the amount that would fit in the center of a pin, and it will somehow change the entire body head to toe. It will somehow change the entire bloodstream, all 5 liters of blood. Got about 5 liters of blood, maybe a gallon, a little over a gallon of blood floating around in circulating around in your body. You take a tiny little bit of vitamin B12 and it changes the entire bloodstream. Why? Because it's working electromagnetically. It's not working chemically. We think these things are working chemically. It couldn't be, because the tiny little amount of vitamins that we take could not possibly spread around the entire body and into all the cells as quickly as it does, and as completely as it does. Not one space in the body is without vitamin B12 when you take your vitamin B12. The entire milieu of the body is vitamin B12ized or seleniumized or zincized, because it's working electromagnetically, not chemically. And of all the nutrients, the electromagnetic nutrients, the most purely electromagnetic, the most densely, perhaps not potent, powerful, but the most pure electromagnetism are the electrolytes. Potassium, sodium, calcium, magnesium, chloride, phosphate, and sulfate. And you want to be drenching yourself in electrolytes whenever possible. Of course, veggies are the best source of electrolytes, fresh. The less fresh your foods are, the further away from being alive your foods are, the less electrolytes they have. And what's worse is electrolytes, because they're water soluble. In fact, electrolytes don't even work unless they're in water. Their electrical action is actually an interaction between them and water. Electrolytes go right into water, and they create electrical conductivity in that water. And by the way, I know I've said this before, If you vortex your electrolytes, you get even more electrical energy, which is why you want to vortex your veggies. Even vortexing your Beyond Tangy Tangerine, even vortexing celery, which is high in electrolytes. And this is one reason why, or one trick, or one tip, if you're trying to fast. Using an electrolyte-rich drink with no calories, hardly any calories, which certainly doesn't put a burden on the body and it doesn't have a large impact on your fast, will give you energy. You get energized by doing celery juice and salt and water. Salt is also, of course, a great source of electrical energy, of electrolytes, sodium and chloride. And if you do sea salt, you get other minerals too. So you use, and by the way, this, if you understand the importance of electrolytes, particularly sodium and chloride, you understand how silly it is to go on a low-salt diet. As if it were even possible. It's not possible, really, because you'll find there's salt everywhere, and you'll end up craving salt, and you'll end up doing salt anyway. Just do sea salt and Himalayan salt, and give yourself enough salt so you don't crave salt. That's how you handle, that's the best way to handle salt. When you go on a salt-free diet, you're going on an electrolyte-free diet. Basically, that's not very bright. Now, it's true, it's sodium and chloride, just two electrolytes for most people, but nonetheless, sodium is an electrolyte, and so is chloride, and they're both important. Electrolytes aren't only electrical, they're magnetic. Remember, electricity and magnetism go together, so when something's electrical, it's also magnetic. And guess what? There's something called polyelectrolytes. We talked about those yesterday. Polyelectrolytes are long chains of electricity. Long chains of electrolytes. As important as an electrolyte is, a polyelectrolyte is even more important. Polyelectrolytes have not just long chains of electricity, but they also have a magnetic field. And that magnetic field attracts vitamins, and it attracts fats, and it attracts amino acids. And these long polyelectrolytes are not just polyelectrolytes, they're polyelectrolyte complexes. That means they're polyelectrolytes and vitamins and minerals and amino acids. They are the most incredible nutritional substances on planet Earth. Nothing more important than these polyelectrolyte complexes. And they're supposed to be in the plants. And they're supposed to be in the soil, but of course we know that story because we use pesticides and fungicides and herbicides that kills the bacteria that make the polyelectrolytes. The polyelectrolytes are made by bacteria, by microbes that live in the soil. Having microbes in the soil and having polyelectrolytes is the best thing you could do if you're a gardener or a farmer. Way more important than for the plant, and way better for the planet than pesticides and fungicides. They use pesticides and fungicides to kill the bad bacteria. Well, it turns out the good bacteria take care of the bad bacteria. These polyelectrolytes have lots of little binding sites. Think of a long chain that acts like a magnet, and each one of these chains, or each one of the pieces of the chain acts like a mini magnet. So the electrolytes are magnets, but the polyelectrolytes are long chains of magnets. You can imagine the kind of power, the magnetic power you have with a long chain of magnets. A polyelectrolyte is a polymagnet. All right, 844-236, and by the way, these things are awesome in skincare. And that's why we use them in our True Skin Health products, polyelectrolyte complexes. All right, I'm Pharmacist Ben. 844-236-6010 is our number. You're listening to The Bright Side, and we will return with you and your phone calls right after this. Okay, we are back on The Bright Side. Pharmacist Ben here. We got lines open at 844-236-6010, 844-236-6010. If you have questions about anything we're speaking about here today, if you've got a comment or success story you'd like to share, well, we like making this program interactive. It's much more entertaining when it's interactive. I don't like just pontificating straight through for an hour. So if you have anything to say, 844-236-6010 is our number, and we'll get your calls here in just a moment. From neurosciencenews.com, secrets or mysteries of the superager revealed. Apparently, there are people who are superagers. They age gracefully. They don't break down as fast. Aging's always going to happen. Chronological aging is that's just the nature of time. We chronologically age, but we don't have to biologically age at the same time, or at least we can biologically age at a slower pace. That's what we're looking for, is to biologically age at a slower pace, and there's some people who naturally do it. According to Neuroscience News and research from Alyssa Eppel, professor of psychology at the UCSF, University of California, San Francisco Aging, Metabolism, and Emotion Center, chronological age and this is a quote, chronological age and biological age do not have to align. The biology of aging and biology of stress are intimate friends, and they talk to each other and influence each other. The greater the feelings of chronic stress, according to Dr. Appel, the greater the signs of aging in cells. We need to learn to relax to activate the parasympathetic nervous system. A little bit of stress is important. A little bit of stress gets you up in the morning. Cortisol, you get a spike of cortisol around 4 o'clock in the morning. Most people, 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, somewhere in there. It's tied into the sun. The sun leaks in through your window and then through your eyelids, and that causes a surge of cortisol to be secreted into the bloodstream, and we wake up. And most people will have more energy first thing in the morning after maybe, if they get a good night's sleep. If we're healthy, put it that way. If we're healthy, we'll have a little surge of energy first thing in the morning. If we're not healthy, that might not happen. Or if our body is not producing enough cortisol, or is cortisol resistant, which is really probably one of the biggest problems with our health, is that we've messed up our cortisol system with our lifestyles, with coffee, with poor handling of stress through hypoglycemia. There's so many different ways that we mess up our cortisol system. Cortisol resistance, that is, the body doesn't listen to cortisol. It has to secrete more cortisol. People making too much cortisol. So the biology of aging and the biology of stress are intimate friends. And then there's also another element, and that is blood toxicity. According to Saul Valletta, PhD, Dr. Saul Valletta, also at the University of California, San Francisco, the bloodstream is the key to aging gracefully. A healthy, clean bloodstream. We've called it on this program dirty blood. According to Dr. Valletta, microscopic cellular messages travel through the bloodstream, and when they don't travel effectively, or the wrong ones travel, we age. Keeping the bloodstream clean. How does the blood stay toxic? How does the blood get toxic? It's through leaky gut. And make no mistake about it, if you have a chronic long-term degenerative disease of any kind, you guaranteed 100% have a blood problem. In fact, that's the only health disease there is dirty blood. All disease is cell disease, and all cell disease is preceded by dirty blood. And unless you're injecting things through your skin, the blood becomes dirty through food. And it's really as simple as that. I was talking to a gal yesterday, a friend of mine. She's had rheumatoid arthritis for years. I don't know if she's listening to the program. She had rheumatoid arthritis for years, and I had to call her on it. She was going to go, said, do you believe it's the bacteria, the mycoplasma, and do you think I should get a blood test and all that? And I had to call her on it. I said, look, autoimmune disease is by definition blood disease. And if you don't believe it, you bought the medical meme that says we don't know what causes it. I am telling you what causes it. It's just common sense. And remember, the way you bust a meme is with critical thinking. And everything, the way I'm walking you through this here is just to show you that it's just common sense. The blood becomes dirty, and it cannot no longer deliver oxygen, it can no longer deliver nutrients, and it can no longer remove toxicity. It delivers toxicity, and that's when we become sick. And when the immune system is involved, and we begin to form these circulating immune complexes, and eventually organs get distorted, and parts of the body get distorted, and then the immune system attacks those distorted parts of the body, and that's your autoimmune disease right there. Aging is dirty blood. Autoimmunity is dirty blood. The blood becomes dirty through food. It's as simple as that. Of course, there's other factors involved, but the most important factor is going to be the food that turns into the blood. Do you know your blood, food magically turns into blood? Food is made up of two components. Made up of a lot of things, but we can break up the components of food into two components, waste and blood. So when you eat a food, it gets divided into the stuff that comes out of us. That's the waste, and that's the vast majority. By the way, it's 90+%, 95% of the food we eat gets eliminated as waste. And you could probably throw fiber in there as well. It's not waste, but it gets eliminated. And then the rest of the stuff gets magically turned into blood. Yes, literally, it magically turns into our blood. And if there's somehow crap getting in, That's where the blood becomes dirty, and that's disease right there. That's chronic long-term degenerative disease right there. Nobody needs a doctor for that. Nobody needs a blood test for that. All you need to do is do a food diary and chart everything, and then start to eliminate the problem foods. And then also, of course, support digestive health with good bacteria and digestive enzymes and apple cider vinegar and maybe some lecithin, or if not supplemental lecithin, food lecithin like egg lecithin. All right, 844-236-6010 is our number. Let's say good morning to Liz in Ohio. Welcome to the bright side, Liz.
Hi, Ben. I started having epilepsy about 4 years ago, and
Okay.
I tried natural methods such as the keto diet and omega-3s, which reduced the seizures a lot, but didn't eliminate them.
What kind of seizures are they?
I had some grand mal, but mostly I had minor ones pretty much every day until I started omega-3s, which reduced
Did you
it.
convulse? Were they convulsion seizures, or were they what do they call? I'm not sure what they call them. Where you just kind of stare off into space.
Mostly the convulsion ones, I guess.
Mostly. Okay. All right. So, how old are you?
32.
Really? Never had any seizures before 4 years ago?
No, not at all.
Any other health challenges? Any other health things going on before
No.
4 years ago? Any
No.
medication that you're on?
Yeah, I'm on 3 different ones now.
What are you on now?
Well, I don't memorize the names.
Okay, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Were you on any medication before you had your seizures?
No, nothing.
Okay, so you're 32. So this started when you were 28, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I call that the age of 28 is when you do something called hitting the wall. Okay, that's when health challenges show up for a lot of people. So it's not unusual, but they build up. You just don't notice them because the body's so unbelievably powerful and resilient until then. So I'm going to ask you a few questions, then we'll help you out here. But we got to take a commercial break. Is that okay, Liz? Can you hang on? Okay, hang on, and we'll finish up. Yeah, at the age of 28, it's very, very common to hit the wall. Arthritis, diabetes, certain cancers show up, and also it's not unusual for seizures to show up also. But it's usually the culmination of a kind of a tipping point, and you just didn't notice it for 28 years, certain things. So we got to get to the bottom of that. All right, I'm Pharmacist Ben. 844-236-6010 is our number. You're listening to The Bright Side. We'll be back right after this. All right, we're back on The Bright Side. 844-236-6010 is our number. We're talking to Liz in Ohio. Hi, Liz. You there?
Hi. Yeah.
Okay. A couple quick questions for you. Liz has some seizure disorder. Started 4 years ago. You weren't on any medication. And then last question here, menstrual cycles, anything going on there? PMS, missing periods, anything strange about that at all?
No, that's not happening, but what I wanted to tell you, though, was that I did get desperate, so I ended up having brain surgery 2 months ago.
Okay.
But 6 weeks after the surgery, I did end up having a grand mal seizure, which was
How
really
do you like that? And then you have that brain surgery. What did they do? What kind of brain surgery did they do?
A temporal lobectomy on the left.
Ay, caramba.
And I'm also having really big memory issues, which is...
Well, they took part of your brain out, girl.
Well, no, it was happening even before that. The seizures.
Okay, here's the deal. Here's the deal. You should really, the temporal lobe. This is kind of fascinating. There's a lot of research, especially done by a guy named Michael Persinger in Canada, about the temporal lobe and temporal lobe epilepsy and spirituality. It turns out that a lot of people who have temporal lobe seizures have really powerful spiritual experiences, almost to the point where Dr. Persinger, Michael Persinger, actually created something he calls the God helmet that you wear on your head, and it stimulates the temporal lobe, and it creates powerful spiritual experiences. It's just kind of interesting. You might want to Google that, temporal lobe epilepsy and spirituality. I assume that's the kind of seizures you had. They call it temporal lobe seizures. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. So anyway, that's just an interesting fact. You might want to look into it. The brain, seizures occur when the brain becomes overloaded. It becomes duressed, and this especially has to do with low blood sugar. It especially has to do with toxicity in the blood. it can involve cortisol as well. So the key to dealing with these things is to relax the body and provide the body with lots of nutrition, especially calming nutrients. Tryptophan, for example, lithium, niacin, all the B vitamins in general, electrolytes. Support the electrical energy of the brain. Stay away from anything that causes low blood sugar. This is why the keto diet is so important. Now, I'm assuming you didn't have a tumor or anything like that, a growth. You didn't mention that. So more than likely, It had to do with toxicity in the blood and duress on the body, duress on the brain. The toxicity in the blood could have probably been in combination, like the perfect storm of a combination of toxicity in the blood and nutritional deficiencies. Now, if you really want to go down and you probably should look for a history of digestive issues. I'm assuming you didn't notice that you had any issues when you were younger, correct? Like everything was fine, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so that means that you're missing something. Temporal lobe or any other seizures do not just happen spontaneously. It's not like you're minding your own business and boom, you get a seizure. Okay? It usually has to, and the fact that it happened when you're 28, that's the exact time when you're going to hit the wall. So if you want to go down this road, you might want to go down the road of searching maybe asking your mom or dad or searching your brain about stuff that you had, especially around digestive issues. And that will help direct your attention a little bit towards any kinds of digestive problems that are causing malnourishment. You might want to do that. If not, just pound the electrolytes. And that's through veggie juices and through Beyond Tangy Tangerine. Pound them. You should be doing them all day, every day. And then also B vitamins, the water-soluble nutrients. Make sure you keep your blood sugar stable. And then use the brain-calming nutrients that I was just talking about. Niacin, lithium, which was the other one I was just... tryptophan, especially 5-HTP, glycine, glycine, lots of vitamin C, which is just a general anti-stress strategy. And then make sure you're practicing your slow, deep rhythmic, SDR breathing techniques. You want to calm the body down, pound the electrolytes, and then make sure you're keeping your blood sugar as stable as you can. All right, good luck with everything, Liz. God bless you. I hope I helped you out. Anything else you want to add?
Thank you very much.
Okay, good. Take care. All right, let's go to Chris in California. What's up, Chris? How you doing, buddy?
Hi, how's it going?
Hey, going good. What's going on, man?
I'm calling about seizures, and I had got them about 3 years ago. 39, and it had happened after I lost my job and other things were going on.
Duress. As far as never had any seizures before. All of a sudden, at the age of 30.
Never.
How about health-wise?
When I was a kid, I was put on for maybe a couple of years for Ritalin and Dexedrine.
For ADD?
For ADD.
Okay.
But after that, I was on no medications.
Okay. All right. Well, something's percolating in there. As I was just saying to Liz, these things just don't happen in a vacuum. So you might want to backtrack to see. Usually, digestion is where you want to look at because of malnourishment and malabsorption leading to malnourishment. So that's a really good place to look. But if you don't want to go there, just like I was just saying to Liz, pound the electrolytes. Make sure you're getting lots of B vitamins, vitamin C as well, and then you know what else I should probably tell you is fats, good essential omega fats. I hope Liz is still listening. Omega-3 fats, also the amino acid taurine, taurine. Maybe 5.
You can use a lot of that, or
I would take 500 milligrams to a gram of that a day. You can take a lot of that for sure. And then also electrolytes. I think I did say electrolytes. And then keeping your blood sugar stable, and then the cortisol, making sure you're relaxing the body as much as possible. When the body is in duress, that's when you're most susceptible to a seizure. So keeping the body calm and relaxed is incredibly important. And one last thing, there's a supplement called theanine. Theanine, that sometimes helps people who have seizure disorders. But there's lots of strategies. And if you want to, just go back to the archives and listen to what I told Liz. Thanks for your call, Chris. I hope I helped you out. I got some more calls I want to get to. Let's see what Carl, the Truth Raider, has to say real quick. What's up, Carl? How you doing, man?
Hey, Benjamin, you misspelled the word baloney a couple of days ago. I caught that.
I missed what?
You misspelled the word baloney a couple of days ago.
I did? Where? On my blog?
So, yeah, you used the wrong pronunciation, I guess.
Did I spell it the French way?
Yes, you did.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. What's going on? Thanks for pointing that out. I appreciate that. What's going on, Carl?
Just a little needle, but I'm hoping you're having a much better New Year than I am. And I hope I don't wind up. I hope I don't wind up having Mr. Bojangles syndrome, if you know what I mean.
No, you got to get another cat. You got to get another cat there, Carl.
Yeah, my sweetheart was just unique. He was an individual.
I know, but you got to get a rebound cat.
It's very, very difficult and tough. It's much more complex than that. That was a spiritual connection. Okay. He was like the soulmate. I never had a cat before. Never cared anything about cats. Never got along with cats. But this one stole my heart.
It's amazing what animals can do.
Yeah,
it's amazing what they can do. Yeah, animals are amazing. You know, cats, dogs, hippopotamuses, pigs, donkeys, camels. Yeah. I'm serious. They're amazing beings.
Absolutely. I think it was just a strange relationships, I think, odd relationship, I think it was. So whatever is going to replace that in the future is going to manifest itself into something else, I feel.
Good for you. Yes.
Yes. I hope so. I hope I don't. I'm really tore up, so I'm trying to take care of my nutrition as much as possible because I'm losing a lot of protein.
Do your bone broth. Make yourself some bone broth. Go to Whole Foods. Make fresh bone broth.
I'm having your supplement right now in the meantime.
The protein, but make fresh. It's very It's perfect. The warmth of it is very comforting, and it's a great way to get your liquid nutrition. Plus, the bone broth protein is great, but you're also getting things like high hyaluronic acid and proteoglycans, things that help support the immune system in the bone broth. So nothing beats bone broth, man. Bone broth protein is good. The powder protein is good, but do all the bone broth. What else? I want to see if I can get one more call in, Carl, the Truth Raider, if I can.
I wanted to tell you that since I've been using the bone broth, I've had a slight reduction in soapy urine. I've had a real problem with a lot of soapy urine, a lot of sudden
Well, that's
urine.
Interesting. Well, you're processing your protein more effectively. Soapy urine, it means the protein is not being processed correctly by the kidneys. Foamy urine, it's not really soapy, but it's foamy, but that has to do with the protein issues and poorly filtered kidneys that aren't filtering correctly. That's something you want to keep your eye on. Kidney disease is nothing to mess around with, and it's extremely common.
That's what she died of.
Luckily, she died of kidney disease.
That's stage 4 renal failure.
It's interesting because by the time you go into full-blown kidney disease, you've got to be at like 15% functioning. I mean, you can lose 80% of your functioning of your kidneys, and they're still working. That's how important the kidneys are. There's a lot of redundancy there. Carl, I got to go. Thanks for your call, and sorry if I left you on hold. That's it for now. I'm Pharmacist Ben. Thanks for listening to The Bright Side. Have yourselves a wonderful, beautiful, awesome, spectacular day. We'll talk to y'all later, folks. Bye for now.